Hello friends, my name is Richard Cito. I'm a personal trainer at UCSF Fitness and Recreation, working out of the Mission Bay location currently. I'm going to be here today to help you run through your home workout. Your home workout being anything that you can do either on the go in a hotel room, minimal to no equipment, or something that you can do in the comfort of your own home, okay? So all you're going to need is a backpack, and a backpack that you can put some heavy things into. So something sturdy enough. Adjusting intensity based on how much weight you put into the backpack. When going through a workout, the best way to warm up for any exercise is doing that exercise, as silly as that sounds. So we're gonna start with a weighted squat. You can also just do a body weight squat if you want, but in order to warm up for these weighted squats, we're gonna do 10 body weight squats. Running through the form of the body weight squat really quickly, setting the feet up here, just about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit wider. I can show you from the front, right there. Chest is nice and tall. When we go down into the squat, we sink our bum back and down into the heels and try to go as low as you can, keeping the bum going back so it keeps our center of gravity within our base of support. Going for 10 bodyweight squats to warm up. We're going in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. 10 bodyweight squats here. And then find your range, what's comfortable for you. Ideally, sinking your bum to the level of the knees, if not a little bit lower, but not going too low. But the lower, generally, the better. So we work on improving that functional range of motion. Let's do one more here. Good. Now, grabbing our backpack. So by this point, you can pause the video and we'll have the timestamp so you can start together, we can end together, but putting weight into the backpack to make it sufficiently challenging for yourself. So I got a few dumbbells actually in here and a couple water bottles, and I think that's good enough for me. So I'm gonna put the backpack on, and all I want you to do, keep the backpack nice and tight too. You can have the front chest straps if you need. And again, you can do this without weight if you don't want to use any weight. But we're gonna go for weighted body weight squats. So when we do this exercise, and any exercise, we always want to think about how we're challenging ourselves. How hard are we pushing? Because if we push ourselves too hard, we'll probably injure ourselves. If we don't push ourselves hard enough, we usually won't get that effective stimulus in order to help build muscle and build strength. So the intensity that we're looking at is anywhere around 3 to 4 reps in reserve. What that means is that if I were to give you $1 million trillion, if you could hit, let's say 16 repetitions, $1 million trillion, and you're like, oh, I can only do 15 no matter what, run over my dog, can't do it, 15 reps is my absolute max. I want you to stop at around 11 to 12 reps, okay? And this will be something that we kind of build over time in terms of that gauge and that barometer of what that feels like. So don't worry too much right now if you're not sure what that sense is. Everything before that 3 to 4 reps in the tank, anything less, you're still doing good work, you're still building good habits, you're still building muscle and still challenging the body. It's just usually around that 3 to 4 reps in reserve point rather. That and beyond, something magical happens and it kind of improves our stimulus and muscle growth kind of exponentially. So keeping that in mind, let's go for our first set of bodyweight squats. We're going in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. So ideally hitting anywhere within 6 to 20 repetitions, but you can hit higher. But the weight should be challenging, that you should hit that 3 to 4 in the tank intensity within that 6 to 20 repetition range. And that's our magic formula. I'm gonna do one more. And that's good for me. So when we take these rests, I explained it in the gym workout, but I'm gonna explain it here as well. You can take the backpack off if it's heavy. It's kind of pulling on my shoulders too, but I'm gonna keep it on anyways. When we do these rests, we wanna rest anywhere from 60 seconds up until 3 minutes or so. Anywhere within that is fair game, but if we are taking less than 60 seconds of rest, it's not a bad thing, but we ideally wanna take enough rest that we are pushing just as hard, if not harder in the next set that we did in that past set. So if you are able to do just as well in this next set as you did in the previous one, after 30 seconds of rest, I'd probably challenge you, saying that you could have pushed a little bit harder in that first one. So keeping that in mind, we got about 15 more seconds of rest at least. Pause the video if you need to take more rest. We're here for you to go along with you in this workout, but taking anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes within that range, going at that point where you think I can do just as well as I did in that last set, in this current set, that's the magic spot, okay? So setting up for squats again, I'm gonna go at least in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. Anywhere from 6 to 20 reps, that's the good stuff. I'm gonna do one more here. Good stuff. And we're resting. So squats, a great exercise. One of the best exercises, if not my favorite exercise, maybe in contention with or only second to the deadlift, because squats are a very functional movement that we do throughout everyday life. We squat down to pick things up. We squat down when we sit in the chair. So squats are very useful and something that we do throughout our life, so why not prepare for them? Squats also are one of the biggest exercises in terms of muscles used. Our squats use our core, our low back, our glutes, our quads, our hamstrings, everything. So these exercises where they hit multiple muscle groups, these are called compound exercises. Compound exercises hitting multiple muscle groups, like I just said with squats. Isolation exercises being the opposite of that, like a bicep curl, hitting just one muscle group, the bicep, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with isolation exercises. Generally speaking though, compound exercises usually have more real life applicability and translate towards increased or improved daily quality of life, okay? So going for our next set of squats, we're going in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. I'm gonna do one more. Okay, really good stuff. Taking another rest here. I think I might have hit 2 sets there, so I'm gonna hit another set just in case. If I already did 3, that's totally fine, and we'll move on to the next exercise. But with this last set here, not necessarily for squats, but in general for any of these exercises, when we are on our last set of an exercise, I always encourage people to kind of play around with what their comfort level is in terms of how hard you push. So if you're thinking, I'm gonna push to 3 to 4 in the tank for the first 2 sets, maybe for the last one, push to 2 to 3. Oftentimes we will underestimate our potential and our ability to perform. They've actually done studies showing that people who think they are at their true point of failure, usually they can actually get about 5 to 8 more reps. So about 80% of people stop 5 to 8 reps shy of their true failure point, which is kind of incredible because that means we're capable of a lot more than we think. So we are heading on. I got a minute down of rest. If you need more, pause the video, but I'm gonna get this last set of squats. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, let's get it. One more. Good, okay. That's it for me. That's it for my squats. I'm taking this off. So, keeping some weight in there, but realistically, if it was a challenging weight for squats, it'll probably be very challenging for this next exercise. We're gonna go to an upper body exercise, a weighted backpack row, a bent over row. So, in doing this exercise, we want to probably take out maybe half the weight that we put in there. I'll leave it in there for now just because for simplicity's sake I won't unload my backpack. But bent over row, we should adjust the bottom of the backpack straps, tightening them enough so that if we're to hold the backpack just like this, almost like that, it should be equal. So it should feel equally tense on both sides. It shouldn't feel like one side is dipping down. This is just to have a little bit more of an equal weight distribution. You can sub out, if you have at home, any weights, so any kettlebells, any dumbbells. Those are actually probably even more ideal than the backpack, but we're going with the no frills option, where we have no equipment or little to no equipment, and we're doing whatever we can, stuffing all our heavy sweaters into our backpack, still getting a workout in even when we're on the go or we're in a rush and we just have stuff at home. So barbell, or bent over rows rather, I'm going to set up and show you. Our feet are going to be in about the same position as they were for squats, so just around hip width, maybe a little narrower, sinking the bum back, kind of tipping over here, so that when we have the bag in front of us, it's still within our base of support. If we narrow our base of support and stand up straight and we have the the bag in front of us, then it is beyond that, and it's going to cause a greater lever or moment arm on our back, a little more strain than we want. Working our low back is not a bad thing, but we want to do it in a controlled manner. So grabbing our weight, I'm just going to show you really quickly, bending over here. When we drive in, we want to drive the bag into our belly, so thinking about driving it into that hip crease, hitting it below the belly button if we can, so we're not bringing it up into the chest, and we're squeezing those elbows back and down. And I'm going to show you what that looks like from the front, right here, just like that. Perfect. So we're going to go for our bent over rows in 3, 2, 1. Let's go for it. First set of bent over rows here with our bag. Thinking about squeezing those elbows back and down, driving that chest through. Weight should feel like it's in the heels. Shouldn't feel like the weight is in the low back. I'm gonna do one more. Great. And we're gonna put it down, putting down the bag. 1 minute of rest here. So bent over rows, really great exercise for challenging the low back and the core in terms of having to hold that position. So it challenges everything in that, what we call our functional core, quote unquote, but also working all our mid to upper and lower back muscles. When we think about the bent over row, we want to think about kind of like in between the shoulder blades, there's a grape there, and we're trying to squeeze that grape, trying to squeeze all the life out of it and squeezing everything back together. That's going to fire all those strong back muscles that we have, help them engage, especially when we're bent over, doing surgery, doing whatever it is, strengthening our back in those positions so our muscles don't kind of roll forward and they don't feel weak and loose. So a really good exercise that I give to almost anyone that I work with, whether they work in surgery or they work at a desk, super beneficial for everyone. We're gonna go for our next set. Let me make sure we're here at a minute. Perfect. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go for our next set of bent over rows. So remember that rep range is anywhere from 6 to 20 repetitions. But hitting that same intensity of 3 to 4 in the tank. I'm gonna do one more. Perfect. Okay. Good stuff. That is set 2 down. We got one more set. When we think about, and these are kind of little tidbits that should all be in the protocol information, but I'm just relaying these tidbits. When we think about how many effective sets we need per muscle group per week in order to build muscle, all you need, the minimum effective dose per person, or for beginners at least, is 1 set per muscle group per week. That's the minimum effective dose. So you could think about doing 1 set of bent over rows, leaving, coming back the next week doing another set of bent over rows, and as long as you push that same intensity of 3 to 4 in the tank, you will effectively build muscle, you will build strength. But for the point of this protocol, and in general, the more you do, the better. So usually 6, kind of around 10 repetitions per muscle group per week is a really good place to be. So if you could hit this workout one more time, because we're gonna hit each of our kind of functional muscle groups twice. If you could hit this workout 1 to 2 times a week, that'd be really, really good, okay? You're welcome to do more, but just following the protocol guidelines as listed. One more barbell, or bent over row, sorry. I'm thinking about barbells all day. Bent over row, sinking the shoulders back and down, bending over. We're gonna go for it in 3, 2, 1, let's go. And whether you round your back or not, up to you, but generally, I find if you puff your chest out and you keep your back straight, it helps you engage the right muscles, helps you feel like you're squeezing everything in the back. This is our last time here. We got one more. Good. Perfect. So when we do this workout, we like to space out lower and upper body exercises. This next one is going to be a bit of a combination of both, but this one's going to be really good at targeting and strengthening everything in the legs and the low back, okay? So these are called good mornings. Good mornings as a nod to the tilting up position of this exercise. So good mornings start very similar to a deadlift, where we set up in the same position. Our feet are just about hip width distance or so, and we are crossing our arms or holding a weight in front of us, leaning forward as we go until we feel a stretch in the hamstrings, and then we come back up. From the side view, what that looks like. Here, leaning forward, feeling that stretch in the hamstrings, and then coming back up. Again, doesn't matter how much you round or straighten the low back, but I will say, holding a certain position is really important. So whether you choose to have a more rounded position or a more upright posture, holding that upright posture or rounded position throughout the whole range of motion. What oftentimes happens is when we injure ourselves is when we change our positions under a huge load. So it's not that there's anything wrong or inherently wrong with a deadlift or a squat or with rounding our back, but when we round our back and we're very used to keeping our back straight, and we round our back under a huge load that our body is not used to, we're throwing this huge stimulus at it that it's not used to, and thus we are increasing the risk of injury. So keeping whatever position feels comfortable to you, but trying to keep that throughout our range. So with the backpack, again, we're gonna keep the same weight as we did for the bent over rows, because we wanna start a little lighter with the good mornings, holding our backpack in front of us like a baby, just like this. Gained a nice belly, nothing wrong with that. So keeping the weight in front of us, you can do it without weight if you want as well, but holding in front of us, leaning forward, tipping forward so it keeps that weight in front of us, and then coming back up. Going down as far forward as you can, and then coming back up. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. Leaning as far forward, sinking the bum back just a little bit, but keeping those legs straight. Feeling that stretch in the low back, stretch in the hamstrings. Once you hit that stretch in the hamstrings, you come right back up. I'm gonna do one more. Good, I'm gonna put that down. This is a little much, pulling you forward. We can always put it back on. So, that is our good mornings. That's the first set of good mornings. Taking another minute of rest here in between these exercises. So when we do these workouts, not thinking about, I'm gonna do this workout on Monday, Tuesday, then I'm good for the week. Ideally, when you do any type of strength training in general, you are spacing out your workouts by at least one day. Noting that when we first start this workout, our body is going to be pretty sore. You're probably going to be pretty sore for at least a couple days. That's totally normal. A novel stimulus, so something new to us, is going to be the number one cause of a extended period of soreness. So 3 to 5 days post-exercise. Usually it's because it's your first day back in the gym for a while, and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? It's not that you push yourself so hard, it's just the body's coordination with the exercise and everything compounded with this new stimulus. It's gonna make it a lot longer of a sore stimulus, whereas usually normal soreness, once we're more well trained in this, as we go further and further in this protocol, usually 1 to 2 days of soreness is the best. So, or will be what we get. So usually I like to space out the workouts maybe doing it Monday, take a break on Tuesday. If you feel ready for it, go for Wednesday, or take another rest, then go Thursday. That's 2 days you could do the protocol. Or if you want to do a little more, 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but always spacing it out in between, okay? Going for our next set of good mornings. Grabbing our backpack, we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go for it. Remember, 6 to 20 reps, roughly so, is our range. Should feel this in the back of the legs and in the low back. We want to feel the low back to a point where we challenge it and it feels sore but not painful. I'm gonna do one more. Great. Okay. Taking it off. We got one more round of good mornings and then we'll move on to our next exercise. So for this last round of good mornings, kind of like we did in the previous ones, you can play around with how comfortable you feel. Maybe at the point where you're like, I'm at 3 to 4 in the tank, unless you're truly, your whole body's shaken, I would say try one more rep, just one more extra rep. And that's how we progress in the gym. When we think about, I want to get stronger, I want to be healthier, if we keep doing the same workout, it'll help us for a little while, but then if we don't change anything, we'll kind of stagnate and plateau, right? It wouldn't make sense if we do the same workout now and we just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. The way to challenge our body and to improve is to increase the weight or increase the number of reps we do. This is a concept called progressive overload. So increasing the stimulus in some way where we increase our overall work volume that we're doing is the kind of surefire way to ensure that we're gonna get stronger, we're gonna get healthier, we're gonna build muscle, okay? So we're gonna go one more set of these weighted good mornings and then we'll move on to our next exercise. Grabbing the backpack, putting it on. If you're at the point as well, if you're like, you know what, my back is toast, I might be able to do some body weight good mornings, just bending over, but I can't do with the weight, totally fine. Just go for body weight good mornings. Not every set has to be the same, as long as each time you're doing the workout, you're trying to improve, okay? Going in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. Bending over. Good little mnemonic I always use is exhale on exertion. I'm gonna do one more. Oh, okay. My back is feeling toasty, and that's what we want. That's what we want. So, all done with our weighted good mornings or just good mornings, and we're gonna move on to the next exercise. We have 2 more exercises we're gonna go through. The first one we're gonna go through is gonna be an upper body exercise, which we all know. We've probably all done it in grade 8 gym class, push-ups. Push-ups, following a back kind of exercise, we wanna work on everything in the front of our body. So working the chest muscles, front of the shoulders, back of the arms, balancing out everything that we're doing to work out the back. Makes a good balanced program. So doing push-ups, just a quick refresher, different ways to do push-ups, though regardless of which way you do a push-up, ideally when we do it, we want to think about our hands are right around shoulder height or so, and when we come down, we're forming an arrow formation with our arms and our torso. So you kind of see this arrow formation with my torso and my arms, so where my humerus is, right here. So pushing through, coming down into that diagonal position so the elbows aren't too tight right along the body or flaring out, okay? So elbows at some diagonal position, that's what our push-up's gonna look like. When we do push-ups, we can think about going from the feet if we need to, think about going from the knees, keeping the torso straight, or even more of a regression should you need, moving the hands back, moving the bum back, and as long as the chest sinks between the hands, that's a push-up, this is a push-up, and this is a push-up as well. So we're gonna go for our first set of push-ups, going at whatever level of intensity you need to, and we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. So when we do these push-ups, ideally sinking our chest all the way down as low as it can go. Nice and controlled. Remember, exhale on exertion. Pushing up. I'm gonna do one more. And there's my first set. So, when we do push-ups, thinking about, yes, feeling that stretch in the chest as we get down, working on a full range. So if you can't go all the way chest to the ground from the feet, move to the knees. If you can't do it from the knees, move your bum back and have that regressed version. Another way at home or hotel you can do a regression is if we have a box, some type of incline to do off of or for the push-up rather. Give me one moment, I'm gonna grab a box. So when using a box or anything, whether it's a box, could be off of the bed, could be off of your kitchen table, your dining room table, your kitchen counter, could be off of the seat of a chair, any of them work as long as it's sturdy and it's safe, pressed up against something where it's firm, so if you're pushing on it, it's not gonna move. So when we set up against the box, I would ideally like, yes, same deal, body is nice and straight, though if you need, you can always drop to the knees as well, and as long as the body and hips are straight, this works just as well as this does, okay? So, we're gonna go for our next set, our second set of push-ups in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. And I'll do it from the incline, from the counter, just in case you need. And remember, every set can be different. You can do one set from the ground, one set from the box, one set from the knees, as long as you are pushing to the right intensity each set. I'm gonna do one more. Oh, okay, taking a breather. We got one more set of push-ups, then we'll move on to our last exercise, which is another low back / leg exercise, and that'll be our last one for today. So hopefully your bag did not move too far. You can use that weighted bag as well. If box or incline push-ups are too easy, even if floor push-ups off of the feet are too easy, putting a weighted backpack onto your back can make push-ups nice and difficult, just as difficult as you need it to be. So we're gonna wait for about 25 seconds or so, taking our time with this rest. Push-ups are a great compound exercise, like referencing what we talked about earlier, a great compound exercise to oppose any of the rowing motions we've done earlier. So with the bent over rows, this is kind of the antithesis to it, or the opposition. So it helps balance out all those other muscles that we were working before. Going for our push-ups for our last set here, we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. Going for push-ups with that weighted backpack if you need. Accessing this workout anywhere, wherever you are in the world. Hopefully feeling that burn at this point. Nice controlled reps. I'm gonna give one more. Whew. Okay. And that's it for me. That's 3 sets of push-ups. We got our last exercise for the day, our last exercise for this workout. Rounding all of it out, we have curtsy squats. Again, something you can use the weighted backpack with, but I'll show you for the first set without a backpack or without any weight or resistance. When we do a weighted curtsy squat or a curtsy squat, having one foot in front, and instead of doing our traditional lunge where the other leg is right back behind within the hips width, we're gonna bring that back leg out, just like a nice little curtsy, and going down into that front heel, pushing through that front heel. Sink down into it, push through. And we want to think about leaning our torso ever so slightly forward so that our center of gravity feels balanced right over that heel. Not so we're sitting back upright and it feels like more stress on the back leg here. So we're gonna go for curtsy squats. You can add some weight if you want. I'm gonna do my first set without it though. We're gonna do curtsy squats, 3 in the tank per side. going and switching once we've hit that intensity, okay? So setting up on your less dominant side, the weaker side, whichever you reflexively weren't going to go to. So if you're right dominant, that probably is your left, unless you've injured your left side, or if you've injured your right side before, and vice versa. So I'm gonna start on my right, because that's my weaker side. And we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, let's go for it. And remember, we're chasing that intensity, chasing that burn, going for as long as you need. I'm gonna do one more. Oh, and I'm gonna switch sides, shaking it out quick, going right into the other side. I'm going for it. And again, all that weight feels centered over that front heel. Nice and firm. One more for me. Oh, good. First set is done. So, curtsy squat being a great lower body exercise that ties into the other ones. The other ones we've done being backpack squats, and then, let me check the program, good mornings. So both of those being bilateral or using 2 legs, so both sides together. This one challenging each individual leg to balance our body weight. So if curtsy squats in themselves, using even just your body weight is a little too challenging, you can always hold onto a chair, hold onto a kitchen counter, anything that is reachable for you, even the wall is good, something just to help support you in case you're worried about falling. I'm gonna take this next set, grabbing my backpack, putting the weight on. We're gonna go for our second set in 3, 2, 1, let's go. This time I'm switching my starting leg. Doesn't matter too much. Again, I would always start on our weaker leg, but you can switch the starting leg if you'd like to balance out as well. One more. Almost lost my balance there. Okay. Going for the other side, I'm going right into it. And if you need to take more breaths in between reps, so at the top of the rep, you take an extra breath, totally fine. Totally fine. I'm gonna do one more rep. Good. Okay. My legs are feeling kind of like jelly at this point, but we're gonna push through for one more set for today, and then we're done our workout. So I might have mentioned this earlier, or I might have mentioned this in the other workout video, but thinking about effective sets to make sure we're challenging the muscles. Remember, we're chasing, ideally, minimum of, 1 is the minimum effective dose, but if we can get anywhere within like 6 to 10, 6 to 12 sets per muscle group per week, that's a really great place to be, and that's enough to have a sufficient stimulus to build strength and build muscle. So if we think about push-ups, we just did 3 sets of push-ups, and if we do them again 2 more times throughout the week, that's 9 sets. That's great. That's a huge amount of progress we would have otherwise made. So don't worry about if you can't get this whole workout in. As long as you can get some of it in, more is better than nothing. We're gonna do our last set, and then we are done. Okay, curtsy squat setting up. I'm gonna switch again, my starting leg. Start on my right now. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go for it. Sinking down. Finding that range as low as you can sink. The lower, the better. I'm gonna do one more after this one. Woo! Oh, and I'm going to the other leg. Remember, do as many or as few as you need to hit that intensity. As long as we're falling within roughly 6 to 20. One more for me. Oh my gosh. Okay. We did it. We made it. We made it. That is the end of our at-home workout. You are done for today. You just hit all the main functional muscle groups in the body, getting sufficient sets for them for the week. But if you can hit this workout 1 to 2 more times, that'd be incredible. So on behalf of UCSF Fitness and Recreation, thank you for joining. I'll see you next time.